talk to me. But you come on here and you just talk. How can this guy be a felon walking around with false media credentials or fake media?
Okay. He said, how can this guy walk around here with fake media credentials? Remember, he said media credentials.
Well, I'm going to show you something here, Mr. Wrench.
Okay.
I'm going to show you that anyone can be a journalist.
Anyone.
You don't need licensing to be a journalist.
Remember, he said a credentialed media person, not just a journalist, credentialed.
All you have to do is get your camera and go around and report and talk to people, and you're considered a journalist.
But you're not considered a credentialed journalist, which was his question.
Media outlets that you see and all them, yeah, they might have went to school, but they don't have any special licensing to
Yes, they do. They have credentials.
be a journalist. So, yes, I'm a felon. I've talked
A 3-time felon.
about that many times. I've written books about
You've lied about it many times.
being a felon. I was convicted for a white-collar,
You didn't write your first book. Someone else wrote your first book.
non-violent crime.
Well, you threatened to rape a girl, a teenage girl, and you harassed the girl. That's nonviolent to you?
It's interesting because people talk to me when I'm out there interviewing.
Really?
It's fun stuff. It's great stuff. It's public awareness.
Okay.
Selfless acts.
Okay. You always go too far. Selfless act. You victimize people. And that look right there, that's what a psychopath does, a narcissist, because he's watching his audience. This is heaven for him. The shit he says is to get a reaction. So now he's watching his chat to see how that went over. Watch him.
Oh,
You can't help it.
This evening, and I don't know the time, Jenny can get into that in her story. Jonathan Lee Riches, I actually think it started with his friend in one of his Facebook groups, shared out a screenshot of my thumbnail from my premiere and asked why she was attacking or bashing Jonathan Lee Riches.
Let's chat.
Oh, let's chat. Is that what it was? And
Yeah. And Laura made a separate post.
yeah, we made another one, and
it said,
for those if she wants.
This is hi, Jenny Waters, aka Deets on the Street. Do you and your husband, Michael, I've said his name before, have a problem with me? Now, why is my husband part of that?
Pause there.
People, I cannot imagine going through trauma of some kind, and then this is what you're faced with, and he doesn't stop. He doesn't do it like just for a day or whatever. We've seen what he's done to these people. He puts up videos. One day there was like freaking 12 or 13 videos, and they were all, none of them actually tied to Idaho.
Right.
It was very weird. It was like he was trying to find anybody who lived near them, and anybody, and to interview them and all this stuff. And it was just like, what are you doing? But
Was from Angelo Zappacosta, who was arrested for pushing and yelling at Jonathan Lee Riches, a known felon on probation and a fraudster. Anyway, this was written by Angelo. He says, he and his cohort, which is Andra, proceeded to our front window, which is out of view of the cameras, and tried to peep in our home with his phone. When I was told what he was doing from a neighbor and saw the footage, I immediately went to the North Fork Police Department and reported him and asked for a no trespass order to be issued to him. I told the officer that he would be outside of Brian Laundrie's house from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. yelling on his bullhorn just like every day for the past 2 weeks. They never did come. The next day, he spoke with another police officer and requested they issue a no trespass. Still nothing, even though they were all around, surrounding the house. This man, Jonathan Lee Riches, this is the important part. This man, Jonathan Lee Riches, has been posing around the neighborhood as a private detective hired by Gabby's parents as a news reporter.
reasons I post something. And I get them occasionally. I get some unhinged people that, you know, confront me based off seeing me on YouTube or...
No, he actually saw you stalking his house and walking up his driveway and then going in his fence.
Reading articles about me, so they read articles and they have this mind like, I'm gonna do something to JLR when I see him, and then, you know, I'm just...
No, sweetie, they just think you're a clown. But when you go on someone's property, that's not funny to people. You're being psycho, kind of, you know?
minding my business, being peaceful, documenting, and these strange...
What are you documenting on this guy's property? I'm not getting why you and Stumpy thought you needed to go on his property after you walked past it 3 or 4 times. Then you open the gate to his backyard and go in. You're such a coward. If someone wants to hit you, you're going to know when they hit you. And they're not going to give a shit about going to jail.
But you're not going to rattle me. You're not going to provoke me into a confrontation.
No, it's not a matter of rattling and provoking. You're a coward. You're a spineless coward.
Camera out and document and say, see you later. And if you decide to touch me, you're most likely going to speak for itself and you won't go to jail. And that will be like my revenge, seeing you go away in cuffs.
Yeah, that's your revenge because you went to jail because you were stupid. Even though you snitched on people. So now you snitch on people because that's how you fight. You've never been a man. Ever.
I'm gonna tell you, motherfucker, you're at the bow. You ain't no fucking shit. You can sit here all you want when you're making food. I don't care. But you come on my fucking property. On your motherfucker. You're going to prison, buddy. You're going to prison. Call 911. You're going to prison. Call fucking 911. You're going to prison. This ain't you. You're going to you on my motherfucking property. You just assaulted me. You're going to jail. You just assaulted me. That's so much about camera. You are going to jail for pressing charges. So assaulting me where everyone was watching. You are going to jail. You came over and assaulted me.
This guy, this neighbor, just started attacking me because he was mad I was on his property 3 days prior with flyers looking for Brian Laundrie.
You didn't have any flyers.
And he had to write me an apology letter, which he did. I should share that apology letter.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Share that apology letter for that dismissed case.
And he got a deferred prosecution. He got arrested and he had to pay like $1,000 fine and he got 6 months probation. Like, dude, don't put your hands on anyone.
Constant protests have the whole street on edge.